Welcome back to the Forensics Unplugged channel, guys. Do not forget to subscribe. Sister to the Forensic Detailing channel. The behind the scenes informal potato cam stuff. There's a lot of informal stuff on the main channel as well. Today we're going to be talking about car protection and what actually is it, and you know, what are the benefits of it? Is it worth all this effort? Which is the important thing. I'm on the come down day after Brands Hatch. So my mind, I'm quite tired because doing a full track day takes quite a lot of concentration. You're running on adrenaline all day, so it's like, whoa, the next day is just a good day to take it easy. What's going on the channel? Well, if we spin around here, I'll have shown you another video on my new tool rack. So that is all done now with the, you've even got the little guard linings on there, and I'm really proud of this. Like, just really proud of putting that together and getting that done, and it's just nice, just good. And I keep my waxes down there. I'm thinking of buying a couple of other really nice waxes. You know, these all different ones. That's my expensive one. That's Imran's. I must give that back to him at some point. Imran, if you're watching, I will get that back to you. I've got that special one from Turtle Wax with the 75th anniversary on the lid, which there's not many of those kicking around, so that's a rare one. I like my high definition wax, a good all-rounder. I've got a pot of the old Fuso there and a load of other Fusos in the cupboard. I've got the Geon wax over there that doesn't quite fit in there. I'm thinking of buying like some really expensive ones, or really not nice expensive ones. I'm thinking either Zymol Concurs or Swissvax Best of Show Detailer, or maybe both, but that would be about 450 quid on 2 pots of waxes, but I just want to get them. I'm doing a video here comparing the Autoglim ceramic spray, rapid ceramic spray, with the Sonax one. They're applied, and I'm just going to leave that for 24 hours before I do all the slickness testing and the gloss testing and all that sort of stuff, and I'll do a proper sort of like a chemical test on it, you know, with surfactant, Surfex probably, to see if we can smack them down, which one can last the longest, and try and give you an opinion on which one is the best product out of these two. Not really sure at the moment. This is much better than I gave it credit for, though, I think, this stuff. And this is pretty good stuff, but so is this. So the comparison should give us some meaningful data. Talked about all-purpose cleaners before in another video. I'm just waiting for the Carchem one to come in, and then I'll start formal testing on that. Probably want to get myself an off-cut of black leather rather than white leather, so I can see any residues or damage or whatever a bit better. So I want some proper top-grain black leather. I have to sort that out, and then I'll do some corrosion tests on steel and aluminium and polycarb. See if these got anything nasty in them that can damage different surfaces or promote corrosion, or or sort of haze up the polycarb. We'll test them in the extractors. I've got my little test criteria out there, so I'm just drawing it up. That's really interesting. I want to show you my car as well outside, because putting a car on a track day works the car hard, although that's what it's built for. And I just love my M4 CS. The brakes are something that I'm paying close attention to. We'll come back to this panel in a second. Let's just open this up. Put a lock on there, a latch on. So where am I at on the brakes? Can you see in there? There, I'm down to probably about 35–40%. So I think they'll be fine for Donington, although they're going to go down probably another 20%, and I'll be down to the last 15% on the fronts. My discs, I think, are fine for the time being. Just get a bit of micro cracking there, but they're okay. After Donington, I'll get the brake fluid done. My rears flying low. The rears much better, probably about 60% there at least. maybe even more. They just don't work the rears as hard. Most of the braking's done on the front. You get with the track days, you've got the hot rubber. You see that? Yeah, flicking up on the paintwork. So it's going to need to be washed. This is the sort of stuff that doesn't come off in the wash, so we'll have to use TARDIS on that, break down some of the rubber film. Tyres, you can see I've had some fun there, but they were still good. Holding up pretty well, these tyres. Yeah, they'll be good for a few more track days yet. The rears, they're holding up well as well. You just see that sign, a little bit of overheating there where they really get worked. I've got these, need to lower my tyre pressures on track days, especially in the summer. I was definitely running too much pressure at Brands. You want to run them so that they're sort of running at 34, 35 hot, you know, and I think I was running 32, 33 cold, which gets you 38 to 40 hot. And they're a bit too tight then, and then you feel a bit of sensitivity. You want them a little bit soft, so they're sort of like, you're maximising that grip, but there's not much in it, but I definitely had them overinflated. Other than that, the only thing I need to sort out on the M4 is the exhaust rattle issue. It only seems to do it on cold startup, and it tends to do it in efficient mode, so I've been living with it. You just come out of efficient mode and it doesn't do it, but it's some sort of you know, kind of thing, rattly thing going on when it's in efficient mode. It's probably to do with the valve, you know, whatever, but I'll get that looked at. Apart from that, the car's fine. Get the brake fluid redone. This is going to be booked in, well, it's already booked in actually, for August, to get all that work sorted out on it, which isn't going to be cheap. But that's our little kind of precursory thing. This car will probably be finished really as a project after all its work in the shops. The alloys will all be restored. It'll have a new back box on it. All the little bushing problems and stuff. Brake lines, that's the big one, will be fixed. I've got OK discs and pads, I think, for the time being. And I'll get it serviced as well. And she's in good shape. I haven't ran this for a while, so it's kind of clean. Well, it's got a bit of dust on it. It's been sitting in the garage for a while, but, you know, it's all looking good. So, car protection. Does like clear coat on cars. Let's just section that off because I think I need to keep this protection. What does a car protection product really do? So the myth is that you're putting a layer on there that will stop you getting scratches and you know, put a barrier on the paintwork that protects it from stone chips and all that. That doesn't happen really. That doesn't go on. The only real way to get physical protection on your car is PPF, is you know, protection, physical protection. Okay. So beyond that, waxes, sealants, you know, ceramic sprays, SiO2, we'll call them sprays, you know, spray and rinses, all that stuff that you put on and you notice it on there. What does that really do? Well, first of all, it creates a barrier between the bare paintwork, so your bare panel, so your clear coat there, and everything that's coming onto your car. But you may notice when you clean your car, when you dry it off, that it still feels a bit lumpy and rough, you know, and that's usually because it's got bits of contamination stuck all in the paintwork, and it binds into the clear coat, and you have to kind of clay it off to get rid of it. You have to really go at it, pick it off with the clay bar almost, you know, scoop it off the paintwork. Now, when you put a layer of protection down, or wax or sealant or something like that on the surface, the main thing is that whatever falls onto the clear coat is going to struggle to bond. You know, a wax takes, if you put a fresh layer of wax on and you spray the car with some overspray, you'll get that overspray off with clay easier, I think, than if it's bare paintwork. It's not just been polished and it's got polishing oil on it. You know, it'll bond to the paintwork if there's nothing there. And it's the same with all the other types of contamination. Fallout, it's going to stick into the layer of wax rather than into your clear coat. Sap, you know, bird muck, what other things? Glue, tar that sits down, you know, that flicks up onto the thing. Anything that's going to stick to your paintwork that's not going to be removed in the wash, it's going to find it harder to stick to these kind of repellent, hydrophobic, what's the other word, oilophobic, where they repel oils and stuff, layers on the car. And some more than others. Now, you can argue that some of the old-fashioned waxes with oil on it and stuff like that soften and can melt in the sunlight, and then the dust can stick to it a little bit more, which probably can go on, you know, can happen. But a modern car protection product shouldn't really do that. So the main thing you get is benefits to contamination build-up. So less contamination. And it's very hard to notice, but in simple terms, a car that's been looked after and polished and kind of waxed or sealed, the paintwork feels good and looks good. And if you had the same car and you ran it for a couple of years and you never really put any wax or sealant on it, the paintwork would feel rough and horrible, I think. So that's your first benefit. Then you get all these other kind of benefits that are little things. Gloss, you know, these products can add a layer of gloss, especially or add gloss by sort of putting a layer of material which fills some of the imperfections and just adds shine. So we know they do that fresh gloss. Less so, you know, still your maximum gloss is using a finishing polish and refining the paint. You can't really add it at that point, but just on your average car, putting a wax on it makes it shine. The next thing is it makes it easier to dry. A car that's got no protection there and the water kind of sticks to it, when you try and towel dry it, it can just smear all over the place. But when you've got fresh protection, you can literally just touch your towel and drag it over the surface and the paintwork's dry, and you haven't had to sort of buff on the paint too much and do all the aggressive stuff that can... Oh, hold on. No, I got it. That can make the paint... I was going to sneeze. That can make the paint scratch it. So it makes it a bit easier to dry. What are the other benefits of protection? Well, some products claim that they add UV protection, so that helps. You know, we know the UV protection in the clear coat degrades over time, and you get less and less UV protection. So your paintwork's going to absorb, you know, the actual colour coat under the clear coat's going to absorb more of that sun energy, however that works, and fade the colour out. So the more you can help your clear coat by having products with UV protection is supposed to benefit you. You'll see lots of cars with clear coat failure in hot countries, don't you? On the roof and the bonnets, especially on the bonnets, near where the wiper jets put out that alcohol solvent, which just bakes on and cycle after cycle. Eventually the clear coat fails there. What are the other benefits to protection? Apart from, so we've talked about the contamination, build up. I think there's probably loads I'm forgetting here, but that's probably the essence of it. It's tiny little rewards, but when you love your car, kind of doing all of this and putting the protection on just feels worth it to me. For 99% of the population with a car, they'll be happy to just wash it down the car wash, and they'll spray and rinse on there now, and that'll be fine. But if you're really into your car, it's the decon, polish, and then protects, isn't it? I was going to say wax, but at least once a year your car really benefits from. So that's what it's all about, guys. And the family clan are just back, and I'll end the video by just showing you kind of what that layer of protection actually looks like, you know. And here's an example. Here's an example of it in action. So having that fresh protection on your car there is the way to go. And it doesn't take long to put it on. There's so many different formats, isn't there? You can buff it on with a wax, with a little applicator and buff it off. You can use a machine polisher to apply something with a soft pad. You can use a spray and rinse. You can use a spray and buff. You've got ceramic coatings now, which are even more durable resins, but those ceramic coatings probably won't give you much real world scratch resistance, but they'll last for sure. So there we go, guys. Put in there what you think protection gives you and what your favourite protection products are and what your sort of protection routine is, and it'll make a good discussion. Other than that, take care. We're going to go and chat to the family and see you later.